This is the quiz project for exploring computer science in Scratch. Uh, in this series of videos, I'm going to show you how to create a quiz. Uh, you're going to, for your project, create a quiz that has a clear format, has at least 6 interactive questions. You're going to have everything well done in terms of your sprites and your backgrounds, and you're going to use if-else blocks to properly structure your quiz for right or wrong, and variables to keep track of scores, and then having some type of response at the end to tell the user how they did on the quiz. So I'm going to move over to Scratch, and I'm not going to create a whole quiz. What I'm going to do is show you how to do different quiz questions, and then ultimately show you how to compile the correct answers or the wrong answers to give a certain response. So we can see I have my sprite here. The first thing I'm going to do is show this sprite. I know that he's already appeared, but when that green flag is clicked, I want him to show. I know that I'm going to hide this sprite as I change screens, so I want to be able to restart it. And I'm just going to start with something simple and say, take this quiz to see your grade level. Now, I need to set up some variables on this. And the variable that I'm going to set is my score. This is where you might want to consider, if you're having timers for questions and those things, you would also want to set up your variable like we have in the past for your timer in there, and maybe even write a function or your timer function for the question. And I'm just going to come down to sensing, and I'm going to ask. Now the ask block means the user needs to respond, and Scratch will bring a little input box up here for you. And I want to ask them what 1 + 1 is. So you're going to see, take this grade level quiz. There's my variable, what's 1.1 + 1. I type in 2, I get no response. And the reason I don't get a response is I haven't programmed it for a response. So I'm going to come down to my if statement, and I'm going to grab an if-else statement. So if the answer equals 2 in this case, so we'll come down to sensing and we'll grab our answer block. Well, I want to say something simple like correct. Now, if it isn't, then I would say incorrect. Now, this becomes tricky when you're asking the audience a question that involves spelling or an exact response, because what this is going to do, it's going to check for an exact response. So if capitalization matters in your quiz, spacing matters in your quiz, or what you might be asking your audience, that will very much matter into whether they get a correct or incorrect response. What you may do is set up a multiple if statement saying, or multiple if-else statement saying, hey, if it's correct, the answer, let's say, is Wisconsin. If they spelled it W with a capital W, it's correct. You might have to do another response with a lowercase w if capitalization doesn't matter in your quiz. Or maybe they abbreviated it WI, both capitals. So those are all things to think about when designing your quiz. Now, I came to my variables and I didn't set my score here. I left it as that. What do I want to have happen? Well, if it's correct, I want to change my score by +1. If it's incorrect, I want to change my score by -1. We're going to see this runs now. Take this quiz. I'm going to put in a 2. It's correct. I'm going to reset, take this quiz again. I'm going to put in 1. It's incorrect, and you'll see my score changes by -1.